The past few months in crypto have been brutal. The collapse of Luna and the near collapse of Celsius has rocked the crypto world. And we've all heard the many reasons that so many are bearish. Today, let's go over some things that are quite bullish in the medium term. We'll talk about some of the things that are bearish, but I have a lot to share with you that's bullish. And we'll talk about signs that we are near the crypto bottom. Are we at the bottom? That's for you to decide as we look at some great things happening. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. And if you like money and crypto and you're looking for a real investor take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. Do note, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, and I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about crypto projects I don't believe in. Shout out to our Patreon members. We do have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to. I'll make it rain on that like button. Strap in for the show. Let's welcome our producer, D Money.
Yo, Jay, how's it going today, man?
Good. Had really interesting conversations yesterday with a few different projects.
Yeah, no, we were just talking before this started and how like we're both kind of like running on empty a little bit. I've been under the weather and I'm feeling better. Like my fever isn't there, but like I didn't get a good night's rest last night. So like we're gonna push through. Like let's bring it for the Rainmaker fam.
Let's do it.
All right.
Join me, Rainmakers. All right. I did want to give a special shout out to our strategic partners, Wanchain, who have their Saturn hard fork coming up. Let me share with you their tweet about it. Essentially, look at the new features coming with their hard fork. This will allow new EVM compatibility with the East London hard fork version. So compatibility with that. Support for EIP 1559, support for SHA-3, support for the latest EVM opcodes, and support for a seamless migration of new dApps from Ethereum. There's a lot of things that Wanchain is doing. They do have the best, in my opinion, trustless bridge capabilities, bridging funds between many different chains, as well as in some ways they can act as like a layer 2 for ETH. So anyway, let's start off today by looking at a few stories in line with what the general feeling is, that everything is bad in crypto and it's terrible. All right. Look at this great article, just stepping on everybody's emotions with some facts that everything's bad. Crypto funds post record 423 million outflows as Bitcoin plunge rattles markets. Now, another way of phrasing this is something we've been talking about, which is people are going into a risk-off situation, meaning they're selling to fiat and, as you're seeing here, pulling that fiat out of the exchanges. That's part of actually going risk off. Now, what's great is when that reverses and goes risk on, guess what happens? The opposite of this. So this article, even though it seems all negative, isn't actually telling us anything we didn't know. We've already seen it in the massive price decreases that come when people go risk off with their assets. All right. Crypto is crashing, this says. Have the crypto bosses learned anything at all? The crash should have been a humbling moment for the industry. Instead, companies are doubling down by Will Gotson. I probably pronounced that wrong. Last Monday marked one of the biggest TV events, Game 5 of the NBA Finals, so naturally the crypto exchange Coinbase used the opportunity to air an ad poking fun at crypto's more enthusiastic doomsayers. A series of tweets declaring crypto is dead. Some new, others nearly a decade old, fades in and out over a rendition of Chopin's Funeral March. Then a new slogan rises up in the harsh blue font, long live crypto. The very next day, Coinbase laid off 1,100 employees, about a fifth of its workforce. Maybe the doomsdayers were onto something. The prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two most popular coins, have tumbled more than 70% from the pandemic highs. Blah, 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 blah. You get the point with this. You know where this kind of thing goes. This is person that doesn't understand crypto writing about the doom of crypto and selectively picking some facts to back that up. This is what a pullback looks like. And we've had a big risk off situation. Notice he completely fails to mention how the stock markets have tumbled historic numbers. And so specifically focusing on crypto, which is by it, well, I wouldn't say by definition, but it is a lot more volatile than what the stock market is. And so it's okay that it tumbled 70%. This is what pullbacks look like, and it sucks. I was hoping for a much bigger leg of the bull run before the stock market crashed. Well, that didn't happen. And so with the stock market crashing in some ways, it's tumbled crypto with it, even though crypto was already down some, brought crypto down even more. All right, enough of that. Ugh, it's like wading through poop. But it is always good to be aware of what people are saying, especially when there are some facts behind it. Now, this is really interesting. Binance and Triple-A partnered for a crypto payment solution. Now, what's interesting is Binance during the last bear market, and I'd say we're in a massive pullback more than a bear market. We'll know in the coming months if it's truly a bear market. I just really believe this is a massive pullback. A lot of it just augmented by the stock market crash, people being worried about, I guess, a lot of things going on in recession that impacted this. Well, maybe we're in for a longer bear market, but I'll share some reasons at the end on why I think this is just, we're somewhere near the bottom already. And if we were in for a longer bear market, probably wouldn't be already close to the bottom. All right, so they partnered. So Binance did a whole lot of things in the bear market that were amazing, and which paved the way for a much bigger run when the bull market started. So now Binance has selected Triple-A as global current cryptocurrency payment gateway for Binance Pay. It's going to lead to several opportunities, this article says. The world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange is working with Singapore-based Triple-A as the latest cryptocurrency payment gateway for Binance Pay. With Triple-A, sellers can accept cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tron, and more with easy setup instant confirmations. So this is going to allow stores another way that they can very easily accept crypto. And when people pay with crypto, it converts it to fiat for the vendor right away. So it resolves the problem. It makes crypto adoption much easier to go more widespread. So Binance, once again, leads the way during this big pullback on some technology that will flip things around. Abra touts first Bitcoin card on the American Express network. More crypto adoption coming. So essentially what this means is this American Express will allow you to get rewards in Bitcoin for spending. So, if you have American Express, you can get some cashback rewards or other different types of rewards, or you can get the one that gives you more flight miles. Now you can get an American Express, or you'll be able to get an American Express that allows you Bitcoin rewards, which sounds really good to me. And it further allows people that don't have exposure to Bitcoin to dip their toes in the pool and start getting exposure to Bitcoin while they become more comfortable before they jump way in. So another great news article. This is also interesting. Bloomberg Terminal has supersized the coverage of its cryptocurrencies. So Bloomberg is going to do a lot more for coverage on cryptocurrencies, including covering as many as 50 different cryptocurrencies in their price feeds. That is, again, really good news. All of this is bullish news. All right. Though crypto is selling off, 91% of people surveyed said they're planning on buying digital assets in the next 6 months, according to Bank of America. Oh my gosh. Is that not the biggest piece of bull news you've seen in a while? Do you see why we're talking about signs today that if we're not at the bottom, we're likely near the bottom? I mean, let's look at the charts here, and then we'll jump back to some more articles. But what bottoms look like, and a lot of people are fairly new to crypto that are in crypto. So they haven't quite experienced massive bottoms. They weren't around in December and then January, December of 2018, January 2019, when this bottom was put in. They weren't around in March of 2020 when this bottom was put in. So they really don't have a feel for what they look like. And they often look like a lot like what we've been going through. Now, it's characterized by many, many, many people saying it's going to go much, much lower. For example, when we were here, people were calling, so Bitcoin dropped all the way to 3,800. And yet people were saying Bitcoin was going to go all the way down to 1,000. Were they right? No, they were way off. We recovered, bounced around about 5,000, then 6,000. And then we started this long climb upwards. So you see, though, each of these has a strong stake in the ground, as it's called, and then it starts this turnaround. This one had a fairly quick turnaround. See this? This was mostly a stock market and people going risk off, and a very, very quickly drove this way down. This is when a lot of countries started shutting down for the pandemic, and then things started to climb up. So here we've got massive sell-off in the stock market, and other things caused this big decrease here. And then my guess is we are starting to climb up. Now, is it fair to say we could go even lower than we're at? Yes, that's a possibility. I'd give it as much as 50%. Now, we did record the video with Paul already that's going to air tomorrow. I strongly suggest you watch that video for Paul's thoughts on if he thinks the bottom is in, because he's got 30 years price analysis expertise. He addresses this with his thoughts too. So stay tuned for that, because I think we can all agree Paul is brilliant at price analysis and reading charts, and what he's seeing in the technicals. I think you're going to be pleased with what he's seeing. All right, back to some news. Yeah, this was good news. 91% of people surveyed said that they're planning on buying digital assets in the next 6 months. That's fantastic. More good news. Solana announces Web3 smartphone, prompting Sol crypto gains. So finally, a little bit of momentum coming back into Solana. And it's nice to see some more development coming along in Solana. We'd all like to see the Solana ecosystem do well again. They've been hampered by things that sometimes happen with new technology and essentially new software. Is Solana's run into some massive bugs. Are all the bugs behind it? Probably not, but hopefully it runs better. And interesting, I didn't even know somebody was working on a Solana-based phone, Web3 smartphone. All right, so let's see what Kevin O'Leary says about crypto. Now, I was around during the bull market in 2017. And what's interesting about now versus then, back then, the biggest name that was strongly endorsing Bitcoin back then was John McAfee of McAfee Antivirus, right? And it's fair to say that like a lot of people know about him at least a little bit. This time, like fast forward 4 years later, and we have big names like Kevin O'Leary. We have Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad. We have all kinds of actual very big names that are very pro crypto and Bitcoin, and pushing they're not just pro these things, they're pushing the industry forward like Kevin O'Leary is doing. Now it says, why Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary still believes trillions of dollars will flow into crypto overnight. Yeah, and he's talking about how the traditional payments is and sending money is so difficult. He talks about sending money to, say, Switzerland, and how it can take weeks to get that money there, whereas he can send it in a stable coin in a matter of seconds. Though the regulations are a little bit unclear, and we do need further regulatory clarity, because the technology is there to be able to move funds instantaneously anywhere in the world, and that's what crypto gives us. It talks about what a breakthrough that is and why that will change the world, though we all need to push our politicians for I guess, meaningful regulation that makes sense. Another big advocate of cryptocurrency is MicroStrategy's CEO Michael Saylor, and they probably had a little bit of heartburn as the market's been tanking because they are trading on some leverage, meaning they have borrowed in order to buy Bitcoin. And so apparently his liquidation point, the concern was that his liquidation point was at 22,500. And as we got closer to that, it looked like he lined up additional lines of capital and was able to get his liquidation point much, much lower. According to him, it's like at $3,000 now, which I just don't believe Bitcoin will hit. Even if it does drop further, I just can't see it coming anywhere near 3,000. So when asked about how he feels about it, Michael Saylor says he's unfazed by Bitcoin's massive sell-off and compares crypto in 2022 to the early days of oil, that we are witnessing the birth of a new industry. And I very much feel that that's the same. This Web3 industry that we talk about, that it's hard to even wrap our minds around where it's all going. It's still like the early days of the internet. And who could have fathomed in the early days of the internet all the innovation that internet would bring? I feel like we're in that stage. I mean, crypto and gaming, a marriage made in heaven. There's a lot that's going to happen there. Crypto in the finance industry, making it so you can send payments, you can send money anywhere in the world instantaneously with very low fees. That's changing the world. You can take your money with you easily. That's changing many things. It'll bring a lot of cost reductions to many parts of the world. And so in many ways, it will change the world in the coming years, but it is early days. And we get these pullbacks and you get reporters that stomp all over it. And just understand that these reporters don't always know what they're talking about. They're just reporting a story to try to get people to read it. Maybe they're right, maybe they're not. Often they have less education on what crypto and Bitcoin is than you do. So don't always take their word as they know what they're talking about just because they have a reporter job. Another article about Kevin O'Leary, and he explains why he's buying the dip in Bitcoin and Ether and says the collapse of risky tokens will help the crypto market in long term. It's true. These pullbacks kind of do clear the road, and you do see some business failures in these pullbacks. And what I look for is ones that are working hard, that have enough capital that they're going to be able to survive, and they're going to be better positioned for when money comes back into the market. That's what happens. So that's normal on these big pullbacks. Now, we never did have a blow off top this last year, and I don't consider March of last year. It was getting close to a blow off top, but it got cut a little bit short. We definitely didn't have it in October when Metaverse announced, or Facebook announced, their change to Meta and how important the Metaverse would be. We saw some runs on specifically gaming coins and things that were Metaverse related. But again, no blow off top. We haven't had it this year. This year has been terrible. So I really think the bull run of 2021 still hasn't happened yet. And what I was hoping was that it would run before the stock market crashed, and that did not happen. And so with the stock market falling tremendously, well, guess what also happens? We learned that Wall Street tends to trade crypto like a tech stock. So when the stock market tumbled, they sold off their crypto as well, which explains the article about all the billions of dollars leaving the crypto market. Because when people go risk off, they sell and they pull it out. That doesn't mean, though, that when people go back to risk on, that billions and then trillions don't come right back into the crypto market very quickly, as Kevin O'Leary hinted on, that he said that he thinks trillions of dollars will come in overnight, not literally over like one night, but it will happen very fast because green candles bring more green candles. So are we at the bottom? I think we're really close. If we haven't hit the bottom, that it's coming in the next few months, and then we're off for a bright future after that. Curious to hear what you think. Put it in the comments below. Remember, if you like this content, give us a like. Do note that decisions that you're making during this pullback, it's a critical time to be making smart decisions, not emotional ones, because good decisions that you make during these massive pullbacks turn into really, really big returns later. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Remember, no rain, no gain.
Came into the space, chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, live out before you could. It was told to buy when it was pouring like a rain.